Yes, hello and greetings, my dear blessed friends. I'm greeting everyone. Some of people are going to be watching us via Facebook. Others, they will watch this video once I've uploaded it. And I just want to be a blessing unto many because I've been given that opportunity. And whoever has been given much, much will be required of them. Today, I want to share this life-transforming message, which is entitled Discovering the Cosmic Christ, the Pyro-Genesis, and Divine Awakening. My dear blessed friend, this is yours, Prophet Professor Dr. Wanjiru Gachie. I'm welcoming you for this live session. And for those who will be listening to the recording, you will also be blessed. The key purpose of sharing this message is for those who want to unlock the mysteries of the Pyro-Genesis cosmic creator, so that they can control and take mastery of their lives and experience what has always been called by others miracles. And in fact, it is not miracles because it is about designing our best and better life and experience riches. They can be riches in intangible or tangible riches. Some people, they want to experience love, relationship love, self-love, love of others, and divine love. Success. God himself, he promised Joshua good success. Others, they want to experience health because they are not feeling well. They are experiencing a body that is not at ease. This is the opportunity to do that. And those who want to experience happiness in life because Pyro-Genesis works. Glory to God. I want first to start by sharing with you my journey to Christ awakening. My early struggles and self-funding in my education has cost. Let me switch off this TV. And I just use this. Let me start by sharing with you my journey to Christ awakening. This Christ awakening came as a result of my early struggles, whereby I came to South Africa. I was born in the Kenyan slums and I relocated to South Africa. And I self-funded my education. It was like I was living from hand to mouth, and yet I did manage despite all odds. In the process, I started asking myself spiritual questions that arose from my personal difficulties. I asked myself, how come some people are doing well while others are not? And then that's when I started to awaken to my life's purpose. I realized that God is not a respecter of persons, but is a respecter of principles. And this is what has brought about the birth of my teaching seminars and their impact, which is being felt in South Africa, and I'm optimistic that it's going to be felt globally. As I've shared with you, I was born in the Kenyan slums, and I've been going from city to city, sharing this message of transformation, because I want many to realize that the Lord, the God, the Christ is within and is not an outside God. I have done my studies here in South Africa, and I also do other hobbies. So my life is not only revolving around being an educator. I also do other things like fitness competition, as you can see there on my screen share. Let me share with you briefly about my academic qualification. As I told you, I came to South Africa with virtually nothing, emptiness. And I have done my bachelor's in education, and I was a teacher in chemistry and mathematics. And then I did a master's in information technology. And then I have done an MBA. And then on top of that, I did a master's in project management with the Southern Queensland University of Australia. And last but not least, I hold a doctorate of administration. But that is not what defines me. What defines me is my tenacity and knowing that within me is a Christ. I'm a facilitator of knowledge, whereby I help individuals to move from their actual level of development to tapping into their zone of proximal, and then they can become the best and highest version of themselves. That is what facilitators do. I'm a lecturer at the university. I'm a researcher. I teach in various fields. And I'm using that now to share that with the world. But the most important thing for us to understand is that, as we have been told, that there's this law of dismissing, where people, they tend to dismiss the small beginning. They only want to be led by their prejudices. But I'm requesting you, my dear blessed friend, you come empty. And when you are empty, you are going to do great and mighty things. So rather than dismissing, I'm asking you to believe and accept, and then you see the changes themselves will be the reality. I normally share this in terms of the 4 A's. What are you associating with? How are you going to assimilate this information that I'm going to share with you today? How are you going to accommodate this information so that it can change your life? And how are you going to adapt and become a new creator? Let me start by introducing what I've been calling Pyro-Genesis on social media, as well as the book that I'm writing on Pyro-Genesis, whereby it's a manifesto for Christ's awakening. It's a Pyro-Genesis cosmic creator. It is a Pyro-Genesis cosmic generator. And it's a Pyro-Genesis cosmic originator. And most importantly, is the Pyro-Genesis miracle power of divine providence that we are going to experience in all areas of our life. Pyro-Genesis entails fire, is a symbolic of divine purification. And the Genesis implies the origin, the beginning, because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh. So how does Pyro-Genesis apply to Christ is what I'm going to be exploring this day. The question is, who is the Christ? As I shared with you last week, the Bible is an encryption, a cryptology, a metaphor, and an allegory, whereby you have to decipher to be able to understand that deep meaning. When you look at this image that I'm showing with you here, this image, you can either look at it and say this is a vessel, and you can also look at it and say these are two faces facing each other. It will depend on how you're going to decipher that message. It's going to depend on your perception, because your perception will determine your world. Your attitude will determine your altitude. That's why I'm saying, I'm that I am. I am, I am. And how do we do that? We start by going into the hidden core. And then we go into our inner core. We remove the layers. We go to our middle core. And then eventually we go to the outer layer. And that's where we see who we are and who we've been truly created to be. Today, I'm exploring the concept of the Christ, namely Yod He Vav Shin Yan. Last week, I explored the name of Jehovah, namely Yod He Vav He. And I showed you just how Yod means the I amness, the awareness of who we are. And He is to behold or to see with your inner eyes. And then Vav is the nail that binds the two together. As you can see in this diagram here, if I may be able to illustrate, this is a window, and the hand of the builder is being nailed together with the conception of that particular person. And then that conception is externalized as another he on the outer realm. So today I want to explore the spiritual significance of Yod He Vav Shin Yan, and that is the name of Jesus Christ. Yod He Vav Shin Ayin, that is the name of Jesus Christ, namely Joshua. So who is the Christ? Again, I'm going to ask again. So what is Shin? Because last week I already looked at Yod, namely our awareness, our consciousness. I looked at He, that is what is your eyes of understanding. And then I looked at Vav, which is the binding of together. And then what is happening now, instead of being Yod He Bao He, as you can see, Yod He Bao He, now we have Yod He Bao Shin Yan. So today I'm only going to look at Shin Yan, because I already looked at Yod, meaning my consciousness, my awareness. He, the window of my inner understanding. Vav is the binding of them together by the nail. So the difference between Yod He Bao He and Yod He Bao Shinen is the Shin Yan. And that's why I'm now going to just start by Shin. What is Shin? Also pronounced as Shaun. Shin is a destroyer. And what does the significance of the addition of Shin in the bound He is that Shin is the destroyer. Shin stands for a tooth. As you can see in my diagram here, which I'm trying to use to illustrate. So Shin is the tooth. And what does this tooth do? What does this tooth do? A tooth, as we know, is used to devour. I use my teeth to devour, to eat a bone, or to chew, or to break down something. So Shin is a destroyer. It destroys. And also Shin also stands for a flame. That's why I'm using Pyro-Genesis. Pyro meaning flame. So Shin is a destroyer and is also a flame. A flame burns what you do not want. So Shin is devouring and destroying what I do not want in my life. And what is that which I do not want? I do not want to live in a life of limitations anymore. Therefore, what do? I destroy my past limitations. I devour my past limitations. I destroy my limited mentality. I do away with the limitations of the past so that I can enter into my best and highest self. I can only destroy my past. Then and only then will I be able to do away with the limited mentality, and I enter into my new self, my best and highest self. So, my dear blessed one, there is no way you can be able to enter into that new life if you do not, first of all, burn or destroy that which has been holding you back. That's why I left the slums. I physically left the slum, and I also left the slum with my mind, because the prodigal son, he said in his own mind, I will arise and I will go to my father's house, and the slums could not hold him back. That is what I'm talking about. Shin is destroying, doing away with that which has been holding you back. And that is what the name Jesus Christ means. And now I'm going to look at the next one, which is Ayin. Ayin stands for the interior eye. This one is different from He, because Yod He Bao He was the eye of perception, but now this is the eye of within a man. Because Christ was made man. So God became man. And that's why I've been telling people that you are God, you are Christ, because Christ is dwelling in you. You are the tabernacle. God is my consciousness. So I cannot say that God is separate from me, because God is me. God is my consciousness. You are God. You are the Christ, because you are that which you are conscious of being. Because God said, let us make man in our own image. And he made himself. He is dwelling within you. And therefore you are that consciousness of God. Therefore God is not separate from you. Christ is not any separate from you. So Ayin is the eye, the interior eye of hearing the word. So if you see nothing, you become nothing. If you see and watch and know, you become that. If you see falsehood, you become that falsehood. But if you see enjoyment, delight, happiness, you become that. If you see poverty, suffering, that is what you will be externalizing, because that is your inner eye that is seeing that. So that's why we are saying Jesus is Yod He Bao Shin Yan, meaning God, my awareness, He, my inner windows, Vav, binding them together, Shin Yan, devouring that which I do not want to devour, and God put Shin in man, made Christ, because of his infinite mercy. Because in the presence of God, everything is good. In his presence, there is no good or bad. But when he became man, he put Shin, a condition which he did not put for himself, because now man has to be able to differentiate between the different things that he embodies. So Ayin is a window at which, or the eye in which the man sees and acknowledges his awareness and consciousness. We can see here the eye symbolizes 70, meaning of watch, see, know, understand, and comprehend. That is what Ayin stands for. So what are you seeing? Because it's about the vision. Because the Bible tells us, without a vision, the people perish. It's about insight, not outside insight. Insight meaning with my inner eyes of understanding. What do I see inside myself? That's what insight is about. It comes to the issue of completeness. What are you seeing in completion? And it brings us to the idea of becoming that creative power. If you are Yod He Bao Shin, then you have that creative power. And that's why Christ said, greater things you shall do than he did. Why? Because you are that Christ. You are God made man. So, does the cosmic flame represent the transformative fire? The one I've been calling Pyro-Genesis? Definitely. Because Moses experienced, I am that I am, in the burning bush. And the bush was not being burnt up. So, I am Yod He Bao Shin Yan. That's how you are supposed to be seeing yourself. When you wake up in the morning, affirm, I am Yod He Bao Shin Yan, and you shall see signs and miracles happening in your life. Declare, I am the embodiment of Yod He Bao Shin Yan. Why? Because Christ dwells in me. Why? Because I'm the tabernacle of God. Why? Because I am that I am. And I am that. And who I am is that God. God is not separate from me. I am that God. Because I am that I am is his name. Therefore, when I'm saying I am good, I'm saying God in me is good. When I'm saying I am sad, I'm saying the God in me is sad. When I'm saying I am poverty, I'm poor, you are saying God in me is poor. And he cannot contradict you because he's I am that which I am. He's your consciousness, your awareness. So when I say I am aware of being in this room, if I'm happy with it, then I am that and I am happy. But if I'm in this room and I am not happy in being in this room, all I need to do is to transcend this room in my consciousness, in my inner Shin Yan, and I see myself transported into the room that I want. I can say, I am in Johannesburg. I'm not physically in Johannesburg, but no one can stop me from declaring that I am mentally dwelling in Johannesburg. And where I am, I will go eventually. Because in my Father's house, there are many mansions. If it was not true, I would have told you that. Therefore, I can embody as many states as I desire. And those states that I embody, it will be a matter of time I see myself in Johannesburg. So let us ask ourselves, what is the connection between Christ and the Pyro-Genesis in reshaping our reality. The connection is very simple. You are that Shin Yan, and then we are that fire that burns in the beginning. So you can shape your reality by embodying the state that you desire, as I've just shown you. If you are living in a life of limitation, you can get out of that life of limitation, even though you are physically still in the slums. Elevate your consciousness to stop being in the slums mentally and spiritually, and with your inner eyes of Shin, devour that life of the slums internally, and then hold on to that state of your new you, the new embodied state that you desire. And my friend, I'm telling you without hesitation, it will happen. I am, as you can see me here, I am the embodiment of what I saw myself. I was living in a life of dejection, in the pig's pen, poverty, helplessness, suicidal, depressed, any state that was negative, I embodied. But then once I rose my consciousness and I said, I am going to change my life, it was only a matter of time. I left the slums behind, and I'm now embodying a beautiful and magnificent life. So why should you not do the same? If you do, why should you not do the same if you do apply the principles that I'm teaching you? I have been working on the Manifesto for Christ's awakening because I want Christ to be awakened in each and every one of us. That manifesto is found in the book of Luke chapter 4, verse 14 to 21. That manifesto of Christ's awakening is the Pyro-Genesis, fire and the new beginning, because Jesus Christ is our reasoned enlightenment. So when I'm saying I am Jesus Christ, I'm saying I am divine consciousness. I am the reasoned enlightenment. And what does the reasoned enlightenment do? It sees with its inner eyes of understanding rather than the outer states. So what is the humanity relationship with this divine transformation is simple. And how can you apply this power to shape your reality? The carnal, earthly mind sees with the five senses: what it tastes, what it sees, what it hears, and what it touches. So it will be saying there is no wine. They will be saying my dream cannot become a reality. My life is not changing. I cannot touch my new life. I cannot taste that new wine. I cannot hear that abundance of rain. I cannot see that great life that is within me. But that is the carnal, fleshly mind. But the person who is Christ awakened, the one who is reason enlightenment, will not go by the five senses, but will use the internal senses that hears the abundance of rain, that sees a small cloud and knows the rain is coming, that can touch the greatness even when it is not physically here, that can taste the good wine that will be served for last. What am I saying? The Bible tells us about 5 wise virgins and the 5 foolish virgins. The 5 wise virgins are the ones who are hearing and touching and feeling and seeing with their inner eyes of understanding. The 5 foolish virgins, they have no oil because they are listening, hearing, seeing, and touching with their outer 5 senses that is telling them there is no wine. They are wineless. That's why you see people, they have no oil, and you wonder what is happening is because they are judging situations using the outer circumstances. But if you go to our courts of justice, you will see the manifestation or the representation of justice is blinded. Why is it in our law courts that the justice is blinded? So that we stop seeing with the outer eyes, because justice does not judge by the outer eyes, but judges according to the truth and justice. If that is the case, why don't you then close and cover your ears and see like the 5 wise virgins? When others are telling you there is no rain, you tell them, I can hear an abundance of rain. When others they tell you there is no wine, you tell them, what has that got to do with me? When others are telling you situations are difficult, you tell them, I have seen the light. And it's going to become your reality. Because as a man thinketh, so is he. Your thoughts are driving your life. If you are going to be driven by the outer senses, you will forever be going to the well and you will be drawing using the human pots. Because the Samaritan woman had 5 husbands, the 5 senses. And she was asking the enlightened reason. You do not have a pot to draw the water from the well that were given by Jacob. And the well is very deep. How are you going to draw water from the deep well if you do not have a pot? But the enlightened reason will tell those 5 senses, if you only knew the water that I have, you will be asking me to give you that water of life. So that is how you are going to apply this power to reshape your reality. By beginning to declare, I am Yod He Bao Shin Yan. I am the enlightened reason. I will not go according to the masses. I will not believe the report of the outside senses. I will tell them, what has that got to do with me? And then I will serve the best wine for last. And they will ask you, how did you do it? When they ask that question, I'll tell them like the man of God, Elisha, he prayed for his servant who was afraid that they were being attacked by a mighty Syrian army. And Elisha, instead of praying for the mighty Syrian army to be destroyed, he went down on his knees and prayed for his servant Gehazi. And he asked God, Father, open the eyes of Gehazi so that Gehazi can see one with God is a majority. Remember Elijah, when he was in Mount Carmel, he performed miracles and he called fire from above and the fire devoured everything. When the 400 prophets of Baal had spent the whole day and night calling fire in vain. You do not need 1 million people to do great and mighty things with God. You can do great things with a jawbone of a donkey. You can do great things using a maid who told the mighty Syrian army leader, Naaman, that he needs to go and be healed. Because it's not by might, but by my spirit, says the Lord. And he despises the wisdom of this world and uses the foolishness, because the word is foolishness to the blind. And only by knowing your power, you stop being dictated by outside circumstances. So, and that is when you shall tap to the Pyro-Genesis miracle power of divine providence. When others, they will be going hungry, you'll be saying, I have more than to eat and to spare. So how do you receive this divine providence? Through Christ's transformation power. You do it by adding Ayin to the name that emphasizes the aspect of divine providence and see the greatness and understand God's will. And who is that God's will? is the will of God, and God is dwelling in you, therefore it is your will. How do you do that? You go silently into the garden of Gethsemane and say, let your will be done. You align yourself with that inner will, and you will see great and mighty things happening. You will do things that mortal men will be calling miracles. So, which are these crucial steps for aligning with our higher self so that we can realize ourselves? Which are these crucial steps for realigning with our higher self so that we can release past limitations? How are we going to do that? We are going to live by being. We love well, and then we do. We use our hand, which is the hand of the director. And then we know and we think well. And we enter into a sleep-like state. Remember, Elisha, when Naaman came to be healed, Elisha never got out of the bed. He only gave instruction for Naaman to go and wash himself 7 times, because 7 is the number of completion. So what are we going to do? We are going to enter into a sleep-like state. We are going to let go and let God, who is dwelling in you, to take over and to take control. We are going to devour anything that is telling us that we cannot do, be, or know. So, how do we engage the Pyro-Genesis so that we can reflect that transformation experience? The name Yoshua, Yod-Heh, Shin, carries a deep spiritual significance. It is representing God's active role in guiding, saving, and providing for his people. And who is that God? God is dwelling in you. So in essence, you have the power. You have the power to call things that are not as though they are. You have the power to bind situations and they will be bound. You have the power to release and they will be released. So, may I ask you, what do you need to devour in terms of Shin so that you can tap into your highest and best expression? What do you need to see in terms of Ayin so that you can align with your highest and best expression? What is the vision of your life? Because without the vision, the people will perish. Here, I am going to devour everything that is not unlike me. Then I can experience love. So, what is the path forward? How are you going to embrace your Christ identity? My friend, you are going to do that by letting go and letting God again. You go into a sleep-like state and embody what you want to do and to be and to go and to live. For example, I'm in this room. Let's say that I'm in the slums and I do not want to be in the slums anymore. I go and in a sleep-like state, drowsy state, I start imagining myself having changed my life. I see myself transported into a better and higher consciousness. I see myself in a new life. I see myself living in a beautiful house. I see myself driving the car of my dream. I see myself wearing the clothes that I've always wanted to do. And even if you'll be in the pig's pen, the pigs will not hold you back. You'll be able to arise in your consciousness and you will go to your father's mansion. And in your father, there is multiple rooms. So one person will embody a different kind of a house, a different kind of apartment, a different kind of dwelling place, depending on what they have envisioned. So God is not limited. It is up to how much you are going to limit yourself. So how do you reshape your reality in alignment with this divine power? you choose, you accept, and then you create. And you impress your conscious mind. And whatever you impress your conscious mind, your subconscious mind will invariably accept. Your subconscious mind does not argue. It is your upper mind, and it accepts whatever you say. If you reject a substance, it rejects. If you accept the substance, it accepts. And it's going to embody in your world. That's why you see people embodying poverty, diseases, unhappiness, sickness, limitations, because that is what their conscious mind, outer five senses, are visualizing and accepting. And then they are impressing their subconscious mind with limitations, and they are embodying that, because you can see that becomes your body. But if you impress your subconscious, if you raise your consciousness and you see, like the 5 wise virgins, you see a mighty abundance of rain and oil and wine, and you impress your subconscious mind with the greatness, you will invariably become great. There is no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. And that Jesus is you. That God is you. So when you go to bed tonight, I'm asking you to affirm that I am He that I am. I am, I am. I am Yod He Bao He. I am Yod He Bao Shinyan. And no good thing shall be withheld from me. My dear blessed friend, the study of love has brought me to the study of a more abundant life, as neither love nor life can be understood in isolation. They are one and the same. To live in love is to live in life, and to live in life is to live in love. Next week, I'll continue with more series of the Pyro-Genesis, and then our inner eyes of understanding will be illuminated. In summary, I have shared with you the puzzles of life. These are the disciplines which you must apply your talent with a sense of urgency and unshakable resolve. When they tell you there is no rain, you tell them, I've had the abundance of rain. When they tell you the girl is dead, you tell them the girl only sleeps. When they tell you your life is hopeless, you tell them you have an abundance of wine. When they tell you there is no wine, you ask them, what has that got to do with me? And I pray that the pieces of your life puzzle will come together smoothly, and may you enjoy the picture of that finished masterpiece to mastering the basics. And the basics is love. Let your effort result in the cause that those who will one day gather to pass judgment on your existence to speak on the simple phrase, well done, good and faithful servant. I wish you influence. I wish you treasures of the soul and mind and the past. And I hope that what I've shared with you today has given you a sense of extra perception in sharpening your skills and in making your life unique. And we are going to touch other people. And we are going to share this message. And the whole world will know that we are Yod He Bao He. That we are Yod He Bao Shenyan. Asante sana. I'll stop sharing. And then I want to check whether there's anybody who wants to ask a question. Anybody who wants to ask a question or want to say something, they are more than welcome. Because this is the beginning of great and mighty things. Because one day, the master will ask you, what did you do with what you had? And then you'll ask, Lord, Lord, and Lord, Lord means a sign of intimacy. And he'll tell you, get out, I do not know you. And then you will ask, how comes you're saying you do not know me? You will hear when the prophet was sharing with you the word and you did not heed, that's when you did not know me. When the prophet was asking you to go and share this word with many who are in need of, who are depressed, who are suicidal, who do not know right or left, that's when you did not give me water to drink. Everything you are doing, you are either serving cold water or parched wine to the thirsty lips of our Lord Jesus Christ on the cross. You are either crucifying Jesus a second time, or you are either resurrecting Christ in your life. The choice is yours. So, Richard, because I can see we are together here in Zoom, I don't know who are others on Facebook, you can add something.
Yes.
Blessed. Thank you very much. Tell us something.
Thank you for that lovely message on discovering the cosmic Christ. It's been very, very powerful and very, very transformative.
I could not hear you, therefore I'm going to end the message now.